Welcome in, everybody, to another Tee to Green Extra. Brian Koziel, I'm waving because everybody can see this. Kevin Sylvester, tip of the cap, and Jeff Meadus.
Wait, put the cap back on. Oh, my God. Look at that. It's crazy.
Look like Elvis.
Peanut butter and
Elvis.
sandwich Elvis, not skinny Elvis. Cool Elvis.
That's right. That's right. Our Tee to Green Extra, if you didn't tune into our last episode, go back on our YouTube page and find it. It was us kind of taking off Michael Jordan talking about all his gambling and games on the golf course. So we talked about that. We got some other good Tee to Green Extra conversations in there as well. But we want to pick up on something that we actually spoke about on our radio show on WGR. We were doing our Champions Tour report and talking about Jim Furyk and Mike Weir, who just kind of had some weird statistical quirks that kind of lined up. Earlier this week, they both had their 50th birthday. They both have won one major tournament. They both happened to occur in the same year. Furyk won the U.S. Open in 2003. Mike Weir, earlier that year in 2003, won his only major, the Masters. And I know, Kev, you said you've got something that you want to show that involves Weir here, right? From your basement, from your little golf collection?
Well, yeah. Well, a couple things. By the way, both players, and this is something Jeff could talk about, had quirky swings. I think that, Weir would, set it.
The setup, right? Yeah. He had that big take back, yeah.
Yeah, after, it would go halfway, bring it back, and then, come through. And he had a lot of people doing that, I think, after Furyk. Well, nobody can do that. That's just years of whatever. But, all right, couple stories here. Mike Weir has a winery in Niagara, in the Niagara Peninsula up there. And the Sabres alumni would have a wine fest every year. And I think one of the very first ones, or the second ones, somebody from Mike Weir Winery is there. And I said, oh, wow, Mike Weir Winery. I said, it'd be awesome to have an autographed bottle from Mike Weir someday. So, I don't know. I said this to somebody, and somebody caught wind of it there, whatever, and brought it to a Sabres game for me. So I have a bottle of Mike Weir Chardonnay from signed by Mike Weir, which I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Masters champion, signed bottle of wine. Unopened, Brian. Unopened.
Now you got to get after
That's
it.
nice.
Yeah. What are you saving it for? It's coronavirus.
Well, I figured if I drank it, I figure I don't know. I think it's cooler having the wine in the bottle. I don't know. Mm-hmm. If it was a Merlot, I'd drink it. But that's one of the cool things. I've had that for, when you mentioned it when we were recording the show, I was over there on a shelf, and I'm like, I took my Mike Weir Chardonnay. So it was very cool. So thank you from the folks from Weir Wineries in Canada, Mike Weir Wine. Pretty cool. I'll have to get a Greg Norman sign. A lot of golfers actually have wines or other crafts. Like Mark Leishman has Leishman Lager. He's got a beer. Have to find that. Furyk, I want
to jump in on Weir before we go.
Yeah.
Quick question. Is Weir the best Canadian golfer ever? And here's where I'm going with this. Weir has 8 PGA Tour wins, 15 professional wins, including the Masters. The argument, no one else, by the way, is even close to this number, other than Brooke Henderson, who has 9. Now, she has 9 LPGA wins and 1 major, the 2016 Women's PGA Championship.
I take Brooke Henderson. I think she's a phenomenal talent. Yeah. He's just getting started. Weir's at the end of his career, and he had a couple good years, I think. But Brooke Henderson's to me almost a generational talent. I mean, she's still young. I don't know how old she is. She can't be 25, is she? I'm getting that.
I don't think so.
And she's really, really talented. And I think probably it might be done deal now.
She's 22 years old.
She's 22 years old.
She has 9 already. Yeah.
Mike Weir won the Masters along with 7 other PGA Tour victories. He beat Tiger in the President's Cup, right, at Royal Montreal.
Might have.
I think
Tiger didn't do that great in the singles. I always remember that.
I believe he beat Tiger in the singles. Mm-hmm. So for that, Mike Weir, is going to the Masters and beat Tiger in the President's Cup on his home soil. That puts the nod to Mike Weir. Although, let's have this conversation again in 20 years when Brooke Henderson's done, and see what she's able to do.
If you're drawing the line in the sand today, we're probably still the bigger impact because of the Masters. I mean, the Masters is just so meaningful, and obviously he came before Henderson. But you're right. At the end of each career, the argument might be easy to argue Henderson if she keeps along the path that she's going. But
even if she slows down a bit, she's got she's one of her she's a generational talent out there. I mean, she's one of the best. Would she be one of the top 5 players right now on the LPGA tour?
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yeah. Well, she right now she's the best Canadian golfer, I believe. And we do have Adam Hadwin, who shot a 59 and won on the PGA Tour. You do have Corey Connors, who won last year's Valero Texas Open. You've got some good Canadian players out.
Nick Taylor, right?
Nick Taylor
won last year. Yeah,
last year, 2-time winner. But still, Brooke Henderson to me is still the face of golf in Canada right now, and that's not just me saying that. That is my friend Mark Zucchino. Will go by that too, who hosts Golf Talk Canada. I work with on PGA Tour Radio. But what is unfair, perhaps, to Brooke Henderson right now is that we're measuring the PGA Tour wins greater than the LPGA Tour wins.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. You're giving more credit, and they get more. The PGA gets way more pub. Now,
sure.
Did he do more for golf in Canada? Probably, because he brought the golf to Canada for millions and millions of Canadians. May have fallen in love because of Mike Weir at that time. And maybe that's why Brooke Henderson plays, because she's in that age group when he would have. And
sure.
Maybe that's why all this Adam Hadwin and all these guys are here, kind of like Tiger Woods for Americans, So it brought golf to a hockey culture. And I think it's, that's why 10 years later, 15 years later, you see good Canadian players, where 10 years ago to see a Canadian was weird. You didn't see very many Canadians on the tour.
Did you say it was weird or weird?
Peculiar.
I like the pun. It's weird.
Yes, weird. Like
I'm
weird.
not that smart to make a pun on purpose.
Or Stephen Ames. Prior to Weir, right? It was Stephen Ames.
Ames has 4 PGA Tour wins.
That's it. Okay. I thought it was more.
Yeah. So Weir has 8 PGA Tour wins, 3 Canadian Tour wins, and then 4 other wins along the way. 1 major, and yes, he did have that big President's Cup win over Tiger. But
that's what I remember from it. Yeah,
he's 50 and off to the Champions Tour likely for many of his rest of his career. Whereas, I mean, for Brooke Henderson to be at 22 and to have a major already on the LPGA Tour and 9 wins already.
22.
We had Brooke Henderson on Tee to Green TV before she turned pro at the second Women's Porter Cup. All right, which she would end up winning, by the way. She had a terrible first round, and I think the second round was okay, but the third round, she shot
61 or something, right?
Yeah, she shot, I believe it was 63 or whatever. She shot some ridiculously low score and went out and won. It was crazy.
She won in 2014.
Yes.
And shot a 62 on the final day to win by 3. And,
there you go.
Up at Niagara Falls Country Club, yep.
She was part of Team Canada. They brought down a large contingent, and we had set it up with their PR folks to play. We're going to play 3 holes with Brooke Henderson. And we caught up with her on, this was Niagara Falls Country Club. We caught up with her on the hole 14. And she was great. I mean, she's a teenager, right? She was just a fantastic kid. And she's like, yeah, this would be great. I'm looking forward to it, right? So on 14, the hole goes down the hill. Like you hit the tee shot a little bit out the right, curves left down the hill. You can't really see the green, whatever. She blisters a 3-wood. I mean, it just took off like a rocket. It was an incredible drive. And then her approach shot, she hit to the front of the green, had like 25 feet. Was a little upset. She wasn't three. She's like, didn't hit that as close as I want. Drains the putt for birdie. I mean, just nails it for birdie. It was just boom. It was just so casual. And then we go to the next tee box, and her coach, and I think her coach was feeling that the other team, like there was a team thing, right? And so we're making this, do this interview with Brooke, and the coach comes over and just is like, "You're done." Like just barks at me, "You're done." I go, well, we have 2 more holes. She's like, "No, this is done." And Brooke goes, and Brooke was great. She's like, "Okay, I think they just need to finish something up." And I go, "Yeah, if we could do that." She's like, "All right, but make it quick." And Brooke apologized to me. She's like, "I'm sorry." I said, "No, Brooke, I understand. Here's a team thing. I appreciate the time." And we just wrapped it up. She could not have been a more polite kid for someone who was a phenom at the time. And you could see she had it just from playing 1 hole of golf with her. She had it. And clearly all the prognostications about her were warranted because she's an unbelievable player and she was an even better kid. And so, I got to imagine she's still a great person. She, for someone who had that much attention on her, there was no arrogance. There was nothing. So I root for her to this day because of that.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, Jimmy Furyk. All right. I got to witness something else here. Listen to me. Me. Oh, you got the weird wine. You got to play with Brooke and no Furyk. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm just trying to share the stories. I'm preventing Jeff from doing that. And who we're kidding, Jeff? We know there's whiskey in that coffee. All right. Anyway. This is
Irish
stuff. Jim Furyk. Was this 3 years ago? It might have been 3 years ago at the Travelers Championship. I was working that for PGA Tour Radio, and Tom Wormy and I went out a little early to the golf course. We just wanted to get there early for a couple of things. And Furyk was like the first guy out or one of the first guys out on Sunday. Final round. Didn't have a great third round. Like just made the cut, I think, on the number for the weekend. It didn't have a great Saturday. Well, I get in there, and one of the videographers for PGAtour.com says, "Oh, Furyk." I go, "Why? What's going on?" He goes, "What's going on? He's got a chance to break 60. Like he's 11 under through 12 holes." I'm like, "What?" And so I'm looking at his score sheet, and I look at Wormy. Well, Tom Wormy does ACC Network stuff. Anyway, I said, "I'm going out there. I'll grab the recorder." This was at, 9:30 in the morning, and we go on the air at noon, and we usually get our packs on at 11:30. I said, "I'm taking the recorder. I'm going to go out there in case this guy does it, so we have something out there." He's like, "Yeah, okay, sure. I won't be far behind you. I got a couple things. We'll come watch." So I get to Furyk on 14. This is the TPC River Highlands, and he has he's hole high left, downhill shot. His hole high left. He's got probably 20 feet for birdie. So I start recording, and the galleries, again, early on a Sunday, like people are just getting to the golf course. People are hearing the buzz about it. They're starting to get around there. And he grazes the edge, right? Just runs it over the edge, just misses birdie. Everybody's, oh. He's got 4 holes left, right, to do it. Goes to 15, the drivable par 4. He drives it just short of the green, chips up on, and the putt. Now, again, I'm recording the call. And it pops out of the hole, like pops out just on the back. Misses birdie there. So he's got 3 holes to go, and he needs, 1 birdie out of 3. And it's the golden horseshoe, they call it, right? 16, the par 3 over water. 17, you got to hit that narrow drive over water again. And then 18 is very, very tight. So he hits it on 16, and he's got 40 feet. He's in the middle of the green, holes up on the left side, and I'm about to record, and I look over Bill Rosinski. They got him on pack, and Bill is, Bill's called everything. Bill's just great, and he just kind of nods to me like, "I've got this," and I'm thinking, it's not going to happen anyways, Bill. He's got 40 feet, tough putt. Son of a gun drains it. Place goes nuts. He makes this 40-footer. He missed like a 14-footer on the last hole. Drains this putt. He's on track. He's got it. He's on track for 59. Just got to par his way in to shoot 59 again, because remember he did it once before on the tour. And he gets a 17, and he hits a shot. He's got like 25 feet up over bank. Son of a gun makes that birdie, right? So now he's like at 58. Place is just, you can feel the energy. Your hair's standing up like, holy smokes, I'm going to see this guy shoot a PGA Tour record 58 in an event. And 18, he's just off the green. It's, again, like 30 some odd feet, but puttable on that hole. And I mean, this place, it's just people on top of people. And he strikes the putt and just grazes the edge. I mean, he was this close to a 57. Still, when he tapped in for the par 58, the place went nuts. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, man. Just being there, the energy in the crowd, it was awesome. And then Bill got to interview him. We're all standing around, congratulating him, shaking his hand. 58, saw something. And then, I don't forget, the phone goes, "Where are you guys? We need to get on PAX." It was like 11:25. Like, oh, crap, we actually have to go on the air now. Like, the whole big thing just happened, and we've got a whole day to go. Russell Knox would end up winning the golf tournament, and I feel bad for Russell Knox because it's an afterthought. Jim Furyk's 58 was a story of the day, story of the tournament, and Russell Knox, of course, Russell Knox got the championship. I mean, he's not feeling bad about it, but it was just one of those things where you just saw this amazing thing happen, and the rest of the day was just kind of like, can't wait for this to be over because I want to talk about Furyk's 58 again. It was remarkable to see in person.
Now, Furyk's 58 was on a par 70. If you actually want to go under par, there's been some guys that have shot 59s on par 72s. So actually, in terms of under par, those you
This
want
is a great debate, Brian.
You want to argue those are better, I guess, in some capacity.
Right.
But Furyk's the only 58. There are some 59s. I'll go through them quickly here. Kevin Chappell shot a 59 at Greenbrier. Snedeker shot a 59 at Sedgefield. That was a par 70. Adam Hadwin shot a 59 at La Quinta, but that was a par 72. So there you go there. Justin Thomas shot a 59 at the Sony Open at Waialae Country Club. That was a 70. Furyk shot a 59 at Conway Golf Club. That's a par 71. Stuart Appleby shot a 59 at the Greenbrier, par 70. Paul Goido shot a 59 at TPC Deer Run, par 70. David Duval shot a 59 at the PGA West Palmer course at the Bob Hope event. That was a par 72. Chip Beck in 91 at the Las Vegas Invitational shot a 59 on a par 72. And Al Geiberger, who was the first to do it at Colonial, on a par 72. So there are there's 4 times that a 59 has been shot on a 72. You've got one in there with a 71, and then the rest are all 70s, including Furyk's 58.
And what do most of them have in common? I mean, most of them are in the last 10 years.
Yep.
And Geiberger was the first, Chip Beck, and no one did it for a long time. I think Duval did it, but it happened so infrequently. Now I feel like it happens once or twice a year almost. I mean, it does, it happens more frequently. The players are better. The ball goes further, everything else. And, they're better mental too. So when you get in those zones, you can, instead of getting ahead of yourself, you stay shot to shot, you end up shooting a great score. I'm sure they knew what they were shooting at the time because that's really, really low, and all of a sudden start adding it up. But,
to your point, Jeff, 8 of the 11 have occurred 2010 and on. Yeah. So in the last decade.
I've had this debate at many dinners, working events about, all right, well, is it shooting on a par 70 course? Does it lessen, is it being on a 72? Is it more significant? And the argument certainly can be made, but course difficulty comes into play on some of those holes. And the pressure of knowing that you're about to do it and to do it. I think it's still a magic number, shooting 59, shooting 58. So I still think it matters. I still think it's a great achievement, and it's something to talk about. You're right. It does seem to happen every year with it. And if it continues to happen that way, then maybe it'll drop in significance. But 58 is a number that hadn't been done in a tour event. So that's why I think it's significant for Jim Furyk. If it was just 59, but if it was 59, then it'd still be great. But the fact that he had done 59 before and did 58, I think that's significant. Joel Damon, by the way, just shot 58 in Arizona. He played with a couple of baseball players, matter of fact, and one of them shot 69 and lost, still lost to Damon by 11 because Damon shot a 58. Now, Damon said, they're playing in a 5-some actually, And he said he had no idea until everybody was quiet on the 18th hole when he got on the green, because he made eagle, I think, on 17. And he didn't know what the hell was going on until it punt, and someone goes, "You just shot 58." He's like, "I did what?" He wasn't aware of what was going on. If he was in a tournament, he certainly would have been aware of what was going on.
You mentioned difficulty of the course, and obviously some of these courses, PGA Tour guys might say, well, these courses are set up easy, but so how about doing it in a major? The lowest round ever in a major, because we know those are set up to be challenging. 62, remember this just happened recently? Brandon Grace did it at Royal Brookdale. He shot the 62, the lowest round ever in a major. Of course, everybody seems to always talk about Johnny Miller's 63. He was the first one to do it at Oakmont, and we don't have to sit here and do a debate about whether or not Oakmont is a hard setup or not. He definitely has done that.
I've played Oakmont a couple times. It's hard, and it's like I played there, and we were talking about Johnny's. I couldn't envision shooting 63. You know how you daydream about going around the golf course? Yeah. Well, there you don't even how would you make that many birdies there? It's insane. And I give him more credit. I'd rather shoot 62 and have that record than shoot 57 in the Las Vegas Open or something. So I'd rather have that because I think that's a better round shooting it in tournament conditions. I watched David Duval shoot that 59. Now I think he did that in the final group or the next to last group, and that was cool. But I'd much, it's a lot harder to play at Oakmont during the U.S. Open than it is to play at the Greenbrier.
I don't know. You still have to get the ball in the hole, Jeff.
Correct.
Like, that's the thing about the score. Like someone say, there's no such thing as a bad birdie to me.
I shot 60 at Grover, Cleveland. Is that a good score? Not that great, really. It's not that hard. You can
I've never shot 60.
Listen,
I would take 60 at Grover.
I'd take 60 at Grover every day of the week, and I'd brag like hell about it. Are you kidding me?
But that's not even close to my best round ever. My best round, some of my best rounds might have been par, playing in 35-mile-an-hour winds and rain and tournament conditions. So as far as ball striking and playing, that wouldn't even come close to one of my better rounds, to be honest. Because Grover, I don't want to say, but Grover, as a long hitter, you can drive up right next to most of the greens. It's par 68, I think. So it's only 8 under par. I think you can drive 7 or 8 of the holes out there at least. So to me, that's an easy score, and 62 at Royal Birkdale during the British Open, that's pretty good. 63 at Oakmont, that's really, really good. And that was done 35 years ago with the old ball and no cavity backs and a wooden wood and a bullseye putter. I mean, to me, that's really, really impressive.
So if people say, what's the greatest golf round ever? Do you think still the most popular answer would be Johnny Miller's round? I would probably say that would still win. I'm not saying I'm voting for it myself personally. I would like to think about it, but I bet you that would still get the most votes.
In my mind, it would. Having played and watched those guys play and
conditions, course difficulty, pressure, the stage, all that.
I don't think enough people saw it. Who follow golf now to say that is it.
Well, if
you
you watch
golf
NBC
nerds
golf,
like us,
Johnny Miller certainly brings it up.
Well,
That's how we know about it. He brings it up all the time.
Very, very true. Very
That's
true.
Right. Yes.
I think more people would say Tiger Woods winning the U.S. Open on a broken leg in the playoff against Rocco Mediate.
Yeah, at Torrey Pines. Yeah,
was the more impressive round. And when you think about it, come on, the guy's leg was mincemeat.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, then you could talk about Kenny Venturi too in the final round at the Open.
yes.
The double. We played 36 that day, right? In the
Right.
heat, and he had heat stroke, and
he had heat stroke. Doesn't remember some of the holes. Doesn't remember playing a lot of it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right, we'll finish here. Just a couple more good trips down memory lane. So Miller's round was the most 63 at a U.S. Open. Jack Nicklaus shot a 63 at 1980 at Baltusrol. So did Tom Weiskopf. They both went 7 under. So the course maybe was playing easy that day, we'll say. Nick Price and Greg Norman both have 63s at Augusta National. Price did it in 86. Norman did it in 96. And Norman, of course, we know went on to not finish that. Faldo came through on that.
Right.
PGA Championship, in terms of guys that have shot 9 under, 63. There's a lot of guys that have shot 7 unders on par 70s, but the 9 under number, Jose Maria Olazabal shot a 9 under round at Valhalla in 2000 for a 63. So most of them have occurred at the PGA or at the British. Only a handful at the U.S. Open and only 2 at the Masters in terms of the 63 number. And then, of course, we mentioned Grace with his 62. Okay, good debates as always. And as always, there's always room for more debate. So hope you enjoyed this Tee to Green Extra. Kev, Jeff, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the nice weather. Hope you get a chance to go play, and we'll do it again next week.
Sounds great, guys. See ya.
Okay,
See ya.
awesome.